Hello the channel, welcome back everyone. Thanks again for watching. We are here to do a preview of the EPL English Premier League is back this weekend. Having a specific video to go over that. I will do, I think tomorrow night, a quick overview of the rest of the game week. Sorry for bombarding everyone with videos at the moment. Everybody's all hyped about the games coming back. We've got, I think, Man United against Fulham on Friday night. And then we've got games all day on Saturday. I'm actually going to the FPL meet on Saturday for the Scottish one as well. So meeting up all the lads, FPL General, FPL Veteran and all the other attendees. So I can't wait, to be honest. I'm not looking forward to Sunday morning, so I'll probably have a sore head. Anyways, let's not talk about that. So in this video today, we're going to have a look through at the stats on Sorare for the upcoming games for this weekend. There's no specific special for this, but the prizes for the English Premier League are really good, so have a look at that in terms of contests in a wee minute. We'll look at the XG and the clean sheet percentages. We'll have a look at the predicted lineups in Predictorfy. We also are giving away some tickets for fanteam, which is already on my Twitter at the moment. With Predictorfy just launching, we'll also be giving away 2 1-month memberships as well. Loads of UI improvements, everything coming. Really quite exciting project to be part of. That's where I do my Celtic stuff, but I'm not the EPL expert. Later on, and as I've said, you're going to have to reply, and there's a bit of a clue in the video. So later on, I'm going to tell you and explain what my favourite dinner is. Anyway, that is a wee bit related to Celtic, but you're going to have to watch later on. So unfortunately, watch video. I'm sorry, but I do appreciate all the views, the likes, the subscribes, and everything there. So first and foremost, we'll have a look at what's on offer for the up-and-coming game week in terms of the English Premier League. So obviously we now have the sort of Belgian special event, but we don't have a special event for the EPL, but it's maybe not as needed, if that makes sense. So this is a team we've already got in Classic Division 2 because they get relegated. Liverpool have got some nice fixtures, which we'll come back to. I really like this team in the Classic EPL. So we've got the Liverpool stat gear with Kevin De Bruyne. I could put Szoboszlai in there, but it's sometimes nice to have a wee differential, though I've got quite good XP on those guys as well. In terms of entering the different competitions, we now have the sort of in-season competitions, as it were, for the Premier League. So we've got La Liga, Premier League, and also the Bundesliga, which isn't actually back yet. So if you look at some of the prizes, cash prizes on offer here, so that's Division 5, but you go right up to the top. You know, $1,500 for first in limited, $1,000 and $700 for the podium, which is great. I think in terms of the EPL cash comps, wrong button. That happens sometimes, by the way, sorry about that. So rare level, you have $3,000 for first, and this is permanent. This is like every round of the EPL. $2,000 for second, $1,500 for third. $1,000 for even top 4 gets you $1,000. So there's lots and lots of cash on offer. In terms of the classic season, there's still stars and everything available as well. So for example, if you look at limited Division 1, then Sorare are paying out 7 stars. And remember that those are English Premier League based stars as well. You know, you're not going to win Mbappe or whatever, but you know, you're going to win guys from the English Premier League, which is great if that's a competition you want to play. Next sheet on here is Sorare probabilities. So thanks to Agal for his support, and also thanks to him for sorting all the data and everything here as well on his spreadsheet. So again, this is a paid service, but he does run a free trial, and then obviously you can discuss the pricing options and everything with him directly. So I filtered this to just the English Premier League so that we can do a specific overview of the stats, and then we'll have a look at the predicted lineups on Predictorfy, see if we can pick out anyone we think is going to be particularly good this weekend. So not a huge surprise, see Arsenal up there. 2.49 expected team goals, 56% or nearly 57% clean sheet. Now the good thing about the Arsenal fixture is actually they're at the top of the rankings for both. So they're at the top of the expected clean sheets and top of the XG for goals scored as well. So you're not really going to get much better than that. So let's have a look at Predictorfy and see what the lineup's looking at. To see all the teams fall. So we tick there, so it shows obviously the lineups are on. So predictions by Sorare EFL. Well done for getting all these up, buddy. I'm going to move myself up here a wee bit because I'm interfering with make it a double and all the stuff that's down the bottom. So okay, David Ryan in goal, no real surprise there. Ben White, Saliba and Gabriel. I think they all are pretty nailed. Zinchenko was an interesting one to me. I guess Calafiore played at Euros, so from that point of view, he's kind of come back a bit later. I think he'll do very well for Arsenal. We've got Declan Rice, Martin Odegaard, and then the third cog in the midfield seems to be a bit more up in the air. I can understand that because Kai Havertz's been playing a bit in terms of the friendlies and things, as far as I can see in midfield, but he played up front last year. So will Jesus play? That's an interesting one. Martinelli and Trossard's a real tough call as well. I mean, Trossard was really favoured a bit more last year, particularly towards the end of the season, and Bukayo Saka. Just an excellent player, there's no doubt about it. Wolves predicted lineup, so we've got Jose Sa, who's thinks underrated goalkeeper. Obviously, that's not a great fixture for him. Eight Nouri's a player I like as well. Matt Doherty's quite a attacking fullback, so it's kind of interesting. Lamina and João Gomez in there. Doyle, I think, is the lad who signed from Man City, actually. He's a pretty good young player. Got Rodrigo Gomez, who doesn't look as if he's got a card yet. Jorgen Larsson, who I owned for a while. Wang and Sarabia. So pretty capable team. There's no two ways about it. We'll come back after we went through different fixtures and we'll look at individual player scores and see if we can pick anyone out from that point of view. Let me move myself down again. I should just pause it and put stuff. And I know that. Sorry if this is looking unprofessional. I just don't want to be over the section there with the signs. Newcastle against Southampton's the next best fixture. 2.48 expected goals. 41% clean sheet percentage. A really tough fixture for Southampton just coming up. Personally, on my fantasy teams, on fanteam, etc., I'm quite heavy in terms of guys like Isak, etc. So if you've got a sort of stack for this game, good on you. I'm not really going to be making one specifically myself for this, but I guess if you'd unlimited amounts of funds, which we'll come back for the tournament on fanteam, then I guess you could, but this obviously Sorare, the real life, buying the players, etc., and it's no bottomless pit of funds. So Nick Pope, good to see him back for Newcastle after a bad injury. Lewis Hall and Trippier and Livramento and Trippier are kind of interesting ones. See a lot of discussions on this on FPL, etc., because of the low price. Dan Burn and Shah look quite nailed. Bruno Guimaraes fancied to play as well. Joe Linton, Sean Longstaff. Gordon, 50% surprised me a wee bit, but I guess that's because he's not had as many minutes. He was away at the Euros, etc. I think he probably will play. I mean, he didn't play for England, so I guess they're just managing his minutes. Isak, things on pens, etc. And Jacob Murphy, although he's not really nailed to play, it's quite an interesting attacking option there as well. As I say, that's a pretty good fixture. You see we've got notes here as well, so this is a new feature. That's magic, that, isn't it? So need to remember that when I'm doing my Celtic stuff. Tonali banned, Botman ACL, Lascelles ACL. We've got Wilson out at the moment, doubtful for Trippier and Gordon based on match fitness. So a really nice addition by the site there. That's good. It's nice to see that in use. There's me pressing the wrong buttons again. That happens. As I said, do apologise. So Southampton, interesting one. I've actually got a Southampton player in one of my FPL teams, so we'll have a wee look at that later on. Our fan teams, not FPL. Both, I suppose. So Sugawara and Brereton Diaz, both quite attacking players. Sugawara is a guy I've held for ages, been obviously in the Eredivisie, a nice attacking right back. Alex McCarthy in because Bazunu is injured, so there's no notes on this one just now. It was nice I had to put them up. Adam Armstrong up front. Flynn Downs was on loan last season. I think that's been made permanent. Not really expecting a clean sheet for Southampton. It's a tough game, I think Newcastle have their tails up. First game back at home, etc. So it's an interesting one. And you would expect Newcastle to score a few goals. So there we go. And will they keep a clean sheet? Southampton certainly capable of scoring. 41% looks highish, but still 41%, right? Still 60 times out of 100, there's no clean sheet. Liverpool against Ipswich. So again, promoted team Ipswich. Liverpool stats, 2.4 expected goals, 42% clean sheet percentage, which is a bit higher than I suspected it might be, but there we go. So Ipswich, let's come up with Liverpool first, so we'll go through that first. Thanks, Penguin, for getting all that information on. There's me. I'm even covering over my own face there. Supported by McBride's, and I'm blocking it off. Mo Salah, I think he'll do pretty well under slot. Jota, again, seeing that team earlier, I'm taking a wee bit of a gamble for him to play up front. Definitely capable of decisives. Gravenberch is an interesting one in midfield. Personally, I think I'm going to risk Harvey Elliott somewhere because he's just been scoring so well. Alisson, Virgil and Trent look fairly nailed, which is good. Jarell Kwanzaa is really quite a good fantasy football option. Obviously, he's quite low in terms of prices, etc. there. And Andy Robertson, there's a lot of talk that maybe Tsimikas, is that how you say it? Tsimikas will play because of Robertson's involvement at the Euros and also injury. Ipswich, so signed well with Arjanet Muric. Really good goalkeeper. Interesting one because he'll face a lot of shots, but he's the type of guy who makes a lot of saves. Ben Johnson's just joined. The other guys probably not so much in terms of heavy mint, etc. Liam Delap, I think it's ex-Man City youth. Pretty interesting. Don't know much about the rest of the guys. Did watch a few games last season. Leif Davis looked quite a good attacking fullback, so that's kind of interesting. And this could be a baptism of fire in terms of the step up to the English Premier League, which is a real step up to the Championship. It's no offence to the Championship teams, but it's a step up. Tottenham Hotspur against Leicester, so 2 expect team goals, 35% clean sheet. Ange Postecoglou's a man we know well, being ex-Celtic, the form we have found since Ange has been around, and then he buggered off, so he's not around anymore, unfortunately. But there we go. Where is the game here? It's down the bottom. So a real attacking manager, Ange Postecoglou, likes to play a good amount of football. Big signing recently with Solanke signing. Seb's has got some notes on here, so there will be a press conference, etc. Udogi, maybe a wee bit more of a doubt than normal. Van de Ven at 80%. Christian Romero is a real solid player. Vicario is a good goalkeeper as well, so if he starts keeping clean sheets, he usually puts in some good scores. Pedro Porro, again, one I really like. Good attacking fullback. Maddison looks a wee bit out of form, but I think he'll be a main man. As he says, that's a main man. Toby Carvery's the main man. He likes his Toby Carvery's, or whatever it was, Sunday roast. Basuma, Bentancur's kind of interesting. Papi Matar Sarr seems to be one that Ange really likes. I think Son and Solanke. Yeah, it's interesting to see Solanke right in at 95%. I think Ange did say, I caught one of the press conferences, he said basically he's had a full pre-season, so should be ready to go. So after spending that amount of money, you would think he'll probably start. And Son, everybody really knows him pretty well. We've got Leicester. Mads Hermansson's a really good goalkeeper, under 23 still, so interesting. People look at this team probably don't know some of these guys. Caleb Baccoli was really, really highly rated in Italy, so quite a good signing, I think, there. Only 70%, so obviously between him without Fez and Vestergaard, it's not certain. Ricardo Pereira and Christensen's a bit up in there. James Justin, again, is another talented player. Buonotti's just come in on loan from Brighton. You got Harry Winks, who's actually in few people's FPL teams, etc., or fan team, based on price. Wilfred Ndidi, Fatawu, Mavid Didi, and Bobby de Corva Reed. So they've got some good attacking options there as well. Probably a game you would think there'll be a couple of goals in. We'll see. Hopefully a nice, exciting start to the season. We have Manchester City against Chelsea, and obviously the reverse fixture for Chelsea further down. So Manchester City 1.92 expected team goals, but a really low clean sheet percentage, and Chelsea's stats 16% clean sheet percentage and 1.22 expected team goals. That's probably pretty much all from Cole Palmer, right? So what a player he is. Let's have a look through it. Will we get all the Chelsea guys on the same screen? Are they putting out 3 teams? That's the running joke and everything, isn't it? Goalkeeper a wee bit more up in there. So Robert Sanchez fancied to start. Maybe give Jorgens a bit of time to bed in, but only 60%. So it's a tough call, that. Cucurella, Levi Colwell, Malo Gusto, 90%. Reece James was suspended and has got injured again. Fofana and Badiashile is quite a close one by the looks of it there as well. Enzo Fernandez, guy I've picked up and limited certainly in Sorare. Lavia, Caicedo, I guess 70% makes sense because he was away at the Copa. And Nkunku, Nicholas Jackson, and as said earlier, Cole Palmer. It's actually not cold in Scotland today, so there we go. But a really good player. I mean, when he came on for England, looked very impressive, scored a great goal there in the latter stages as well, and a really sought after asset on FPL, fanteam, etc. Manchester City and all their charges hanging over them. Ederson decided to stay, no real surprise there. Akanji, always a player who's looked pretty impressive, did pretty well for Switzerland as well. Gvardiol 80%, Ruben Diaz as well. So a lot of it's Pep Roulette, and I know it's early on in the season, but it's this Pep Roulette thing, you know, John Stone's only 20%, and Walker I think's injured, so or carrying an injury, or obviously was away at Euros, so Rico Lewis fancied to start. Kevin De Bruyne 90%, that's music to my ears. Erling Haaland, no real surprise there. Doku 70%. Foden only at 30, but I guess after the Euros that kind of makes sense. There's a lot of minutes there over the summer. Bernardo Silva, Oscar Bobb's certainly a real interesting fan team type player, but also in Sorare, I mean, I actually thought about picking him up, but I've been spending too much money on Celtic and other stars, etc. there as well. West Ham against Aston Villa, so 1.53 expected team goals for West Ham, clean sheet percentage 24, and then the reverse of that for Aston Villa, it's right down below there. 22% clean sheet percentage for Aston Villa and 1.46 goals. So a real tough game there to call. Interesting one. I mean, we'll go for West Ham first if that's okay, but I think they've signed really, really well. Proper well. I mean, Füllkrug, excellent signing in the Germany squad, scored lots of goals for Dortmund. Kudus, excellent player. Jared Bowen, really established FPL player, Sorare player. Lucas Paqueta is an interesting one. I thought he had that betting thing hanging over him. The Somerville was a backup. I mean, he was brilliant for Leeds, so good. Step up again, but there we go. Areola in goals, one that's sort of talked about quite a lot. Emerson Cresswell, looks like Emerson will get the nod there. Max Kilman, a good signing too. Todd de Boer only in at 25%. I guess he just signed, so that's kind of interesting. You've got James Ward-Prowse at only 65%. Pretty good Sorare card, James Ward-Prowse, because as far as I'm aware, he's still in sets as well. Aston Villa, I've got Emiliano Martinez, really solid goalkeeper, excellent for Argentina. Lucas Digne and Maatsen, interesting one. So I did actually have a quick chat with Bean NFT and said basically Maatsen, based on sort of minutes in pre-season and all that sort of stuff, he thought probably Digne would start, which is reflected in the prediction. And Ezra Konza, a good player, Matt Cash there as well. So quite a few people, Konza in their FPL teams and fan teams. John McGinn obviously was away. Amadou Onana, you've got in there at 90%, really good player. I'm surprised he's not moved on. Actually, I was at Aston Villa doing pretty well, but I just mean there's some links early in Bailey. Tielemans was pretty good for Belgium as well. Ollie Watkins at 90%, interesting one, so we've got him in now. Keep an eye on that. And Morgan Rogers as well. So again, Rogers probably favoured the moment with McGinn having a more of a heavy summer, which is interesting. Other fixtures we've got, so we're getting into the sort of dregs of the fixtures. Apologies to these guys if that's your team, etc. But maybe not the best fixtures, and we'll come back to looking at individual players and projected Sorare scores before we look at fan team. So we've got Brentford at home to Crystal Palace. Crystal Palace always impressed me quite a lot, actually. Brentford 1.37 expected goals, so not really a great game for Crystal Palace clean sheet, although I think that Henderson's a pretty good guy to have in your teams for fan team, etc. Everton at home to Brighton, again, nothing standing out really in terms of stats. Then we've got the reverse of Brighton against Everton, Bournemouth against Nottingham Forest there as well. We missed Nottingham Forest earlier actually, so let's go through the rest of the teams there. So we'll just come down in order of the list. Everton against Brighton. So Brighton are after Matt O'Reilly. You can bugger off, please. Just buy Cadioglu. You'll not have any money left after that. Jason Steele, Verbruggen's injured. Veltman Van Heck. Van Heck's a good player. Barco, a real affordable option for a fan team, etc. And on Sorare has cards now, which is really good for Brighton. He had Boca cards. Matt's Wifer, this guy who know pretty well from his Feyenoord days, used to hold his card as well. Minty really impressed me actually. Played at Celtic Park against Celtic in the Champions League, and I seen him live, and he was electric. The boy scored as well. João Pedro, a real nice option. Matoma, it'd be nice to see him fit, and Welbeck up front. We'll come back to discussing the FPL or fan team options after we've looked through Sorare scores. Jordan Pickford, Jake O'Brien's a good sign as well. He's always done pretty well for Lyon. Michaelenko, a nice attacking fullback. Tarkowski, Ashley Young. Jack Harrison in there at 90% is quite interesting. Drissa Ganagay, Erog Bunum. I'm not good at pronunciations, right? I do apologise if I've just butchered Timothy's name. Dwight McNeil, again, that's quite an interesting option, I think, for fantasy football. Decore and Calvert-Lewin, who I think underperformed his XG quite a lot last season. So we've got Nottingham Forest against Bournemouth. Matt Sells favoured to get the nod, but only 70%, so that's a difficult one. Murillo, unfortunately, is a midfielder, and sorry, I don't know how he's a midfielder, but or why he's a midfielder, sorry, because he's clearly a defender, I think, in real life. Yeah, it's kind of an interesting one. Ina's quite an attacking fullback. Nico Williams, a guy I hold myself. Sangari is a really good player who's probably underperformed. A guy who, if we went back to like a PSV or whatever, just be a complete monster. And Sorare again. Hudson Odoi, Gibbs White, Alanga, and Wood, all pretty affordable in terms of fantasy football in general. And then we've got Bournemouth, Neto and Travers, difficult one. There's a wee bit of chat about maybe Liverpool signing Mamardashvili and sending him on loans, so that's interesting. Travers, I think, pretty good young goalkeeper, to be honest. Zabarnyi, a hold. Kirkes, interesting one, likes to attack, but never really puts up great scores. Senesi used to be a monster, and Sorare as well. Ryan Christie, ex-Celtic. A pretty good player. It's not putting in any massive scores in EPL, but obviously tough competition. Sinisterra is a guy I really like. He's quite an interesting one. Really talented. We've got Semenyo or Jefferson up there. Obviously, Solanke's moved on, so space is there for guys like Alex Scott, Cliver, and Semenyo to play as well. So that's all pretty interesting. And Brentford against Crystal Palace, we'll cover that, and then we'll look at the individual player scores that are standing out. Mark Flecken, really good goalkeeper. Had some assists last season, it was quite interesting. IR's ex-Celtic, loves to get forward. Good big players, probably just too many injuries, etc. We've got Pinnock, Nathan Collins, I don't know Roerslev that well, to be honest. Janelle Nordgaard and Jensen seem quite solid in there. We've got Kevin Shade, Lampshade, I don't know, Shade. Came from Germany, I think, signed over the summer as far as I remember, and pretty talented player. Ivan Toney, kind of surprised he's not moved on. I think he's on pens and everything, and I think Brian Mbuemo takes all the sets and things. So always not really guys I'm seeing much in FPL projected lineups, etc. But I guess a lot of people are targeting early fixtures, looking at wild cards, all that type of stuff. Dean Henderson, I've got in some teams. Guehi's been subject to a lot of transfer news. Got Joe Anderson, only at 70%. That's kind of interesting. Daniel Munoz, a guy I really like a lot, like really underrated player. Was excellent for Colombia. Adam Wharton, maybe unfortunate not to get more minutes for England. Really good player anytime I've seen him. Hughes and Lerman there. I think Lerman would probably be a bit higher if he wasn't probably just back from Colombia, although Munoz is in there. Guess just more difficult to call. Tariq Mitchell, Eze, probably the talisman now. Daichi Kamada's an interesting one, always a pretty talented player. I think he'll do well under that system for Palace. And big, I wanna be Edward. He's probably going to play at the moment because Mateta is just back from the Olympics. So let's have a look at player database, and then what we'll do is we'll filter this to the English Premier League alone and see if we can have a look at the highest projected scores. So we've got League, English Premier League, and spreadsheet will do all calculations, etc. Now some of these be a wee bit interesting because there's been a lot of movement, etc. So 100's really high. I don't know why there's so many that are up at 100, but let's have a look. So guys like, obviously, Andrew Irving's just moved to West Ham, and a lot of his previous stats would be from different league. So you could probably ignore most of the ones at top. Dominic Solanke, really high projected score, so that's really interesting. I guess that reflects the fact that he's moved to a better team as well. No offence to Bournemouth, but I think Tottenham probably be fancied to be above them. Who knows? But maybe a good attacking team. Son with a 97, so looks like a really good game for Spurs. I've never seen Nat Phillips do a 91, so let's just ignore that as an ex-Celtic guy. Tariq Mitchell at 88 is quite high actually. I didn't expect it to be that high. Veltman 87, Tarkowski. So I mean, Everton are really quite strong at home. So these are quite interesting because you usually expect to see like Salah and Haaland and all that sort of type up here. Looks like a pretty good fixture for Morgan Gibbs-White. Leif Davis, we mentioned him earlier. So estimated score of 87, pretty high. Callum Hudson-Odoi 84, so I mentioned him earlier as well. Slowtie projected high scores here would be a bit higher than I expected actually. Obviously it doesn't always work out like that. Sam Morsey, I don't really know, but he seems 90% starts, so that's interesting. Isak, I think would be a pretty strong option, you know, at home. Southampton concede quite a few goals. Senesi, Kamada mentioned there, so Daichi could be a really good differential type pick. Brennan Johnson certainly has had lots of minutes. Or played a bit on pre-seasons, maybe a bit more difficult to pick whether or not he's going to play, but 80% on a Gal's spreadsheet anyway for starting. Diogo Carlos looks like he's not going to start, so that's a shame because he's quite a solid player for Aston Villa. Just missed out Branthwaite, I think, there. So Branthwaite is a guy I had in my EPL teams, etc. before, but I was kind of chopping and changing like everybody else. Ashley Phillips on 0% start here. Omari Hutchinson projected 76, interesting. Kulusevski is an interesting one. I mean, you know, will his minutes be affected by Solanke coming in? Because obviously got Son up there as well. Maybe Kulusevski plays out wide again. Still projects 75. Dwight McNeil again. Jarell Quansah, quite a high expected score, so that's quite interesting. He's really cheap in fanteam, etc. Dango Ouattara is a really fun player. Again, 40% is quite low. Callum Hudson-Odoi, Oleaina. Welbeck looks like he's going to get the nod up front. That seems to be the consensus. Kudus is there too, and there's forgetting guys like Bruno Fernandes. I've never even looked at that fixture in Man United. Why did I not look at that? So Bruno Fernandes, we'll go back and look at that, and then we'll go into fan team. So Bruno Fernandes 72, Calafiori I don't think will start. Odegaard 71. Semenyo estimated as a 70. Kevin De Bruyne is a way down here on 69, I guess. Playing against Chelsea away is more difficult. If you want any opinions on starting players, etc., then by all means drop me a wee message in the video, etc. Will Dennis won't start for Bournemouth. Pedro Porro 69. Anthony Gordon again 67. Rodrigo only at 40%, kind of interesting. Calvert-Lewin 66. That's not too bad. Declan Rice, I'm going to have him in some teams. Christian Romero there. Gakpo probably won't start after the Euros, but you would imagine being the team. Bruno Guimaraes, etc. there as well. So I'm not going to go through all of them, but I do want to have a look at fan team now as well, because we're running the giveaway, which is pinned on Twitter. I'm going to put the links and things in the video to here as well. Basically, if you sign up, they'll just give you a £3 free ticket to this EPL unlimited season game. So I've already entered this competition. It's kind of fun one. Maybe some of the purists will maybe not like it as much, but let's have a look through. Now, the interesting thing is this is completely unlimited. You can pick anybody. So there's usual rules in terms of like 3 per team, but there's no budget in the unlimited one, which I think is really fun. So you just think that people, will have Haaland, why if I get Darwin Núñez in, I'm going to have to change it. I don't know why we get Darwin Núñez in there. I'll be changing that to Jota, I think. Maybe I should have changed that before the video. But yeah, I quite like this out of Everton defence at home. Arsenal, maybe I should just go with Arsenal in there, but I do have Saka and White, and I've got Raya on the bench, so I could bring in Raya as well. I don't know why I captained Anthony Gordon looking at those percentages and everything there now, so I'll probably change that to like Isaac. Saka on pens, etc. Salah does what it says in the tin. We've got Cole Palmer on the bench, which is mad. Porro and Guardiola. Really, really quite a fun competition, and the prizes and everything are all pretty good here as well. So in terms of the overall games, the competition payouts for the EPL Unlimited is 30,000 in total. So for a £3 entry, that'll be a pretty chunky first prize there. Also in fanteam, I play the FPL or sort of paid FPL version, if that makes sense. So I've already got a few entries in here. We'll have a quick look at money teams. So I've spent my own money in this. I'm not encouraging people to go daft and spend their own money, but if you do play FPL, you want to play a paid version. This is a 200,000 contest. So you're looking at first prize is going to be 40,000, which is just bonkers for a £10 buy-in. So I've gone with Pickford, Michaelenko, defence again. I need to tidy up my unlimited team there. Guardiola, everybody seems to be sort of flavour of the month. Munoz, as I said earlier, I quite like. Salah, Gordon, Szoboszlai, Kudus and Brereton Diaz. I mean, a lot of people probably not been going down that sort of route, but Brereton Diaz is pretty cheap, and he's got some quite good opening fixtures. Newcastle, maybe the Pope back should help them, but they might concede at home, as that certainly would suggest. So I'm captaining Isaac. I've seen one of the FPL guys, I think it's FPL veteran, say, what's the point of having Haaland if you don't captain him? I get that, but I mean, you don't want to be leaving like 5 or 6 million in your budget and then bringing him in, because the problem with Haaland is if you don't start with him, you're probably going to have to wildcard to get him in. I've got Travers in there just as the reserve goalkeeper, Barco, Pedro and Sugawara. And Sugawara is a guy I really like in terms of Sorare. How he'll do at Southampton, will he get sets and everything, that's pretty interesting. So thanks to the guys at fanteam for giving me tickets. It's on my Twitter, it's pinned post on Twitter. You just need to sign up and they'll give you a free £3 ticket to the EPL Unlimited game. There's no deposit needed or anything, which is absolutely magic as well. Earlier, I had mentioned that there would be a wee bit of a surprise in here, and this is the clue now. So when you're replying to the giveaway for Predictorfy, then you need to put on what my favourite dinner is. And after Rangers were beaten by the Ukrainians last night, here's the clue. Chicken Kiev. Sorry, Rangers fans. I'm sorry. I apologise, but we've got to do a bit of ribbon here. Rangers are going to the Europa League, not the Champions League. Unbelievably, I know this is not the EPL stuff, but let's just have a quick look at it. The last video I done, unbelievably enough, after all the Celtic stuff, game last night, who did I win? But Cyril Dessers. Cyril Dessers! I've got a Rangers player in my gallery. Thankfully, the card's unopened at the moment. I don't think I'll be keeping them long enough to actually to open them. I'm probably just going to give them away at some point, but we're doing our giveaways. So summary of the giveaways, in the Twitter pinned post at the moment, we've got the link for fanteam. See, I play that myself. It's really fun competition. I've not really done a lot on FPL, to be perfectly honest. Just always because it's free and everything. I've entered a few private leagues and everything now just for a laugh. I'm going to the meet up on Saturday. It'd be nice to catch up with guys like FPL General, who's also Sorare contender, plays in Sorare and everything as well. A lot of the guys from FPL coming across, which is absolutely magic. As I said, you'll have to reply to the post that I put out. So for Predictorfy, we're giving away 2 months of memberships. There'll be our instructions in there. Obviously, you have to follow Predictorfy, you have to follow myself, and you'll have to sort of retweet and comment. But when you put your comment in, you need to put in my favourite food. And I've told you what it is this week. It's not my favourite food of all time. It's just a bit of ribbon for Rangers fans at the moment. I do apologise. So, again, thanks to the guys at Predictorfy, all the predictors, for getting all the lineups and everything up. That was great. Thanks again to Egal at Sorare Probabilities for getting all the data up to date. Find this quite interesting. I mean, I've not actually done many selections here, but I've shown you what I've put in for Liverpool, etc. But just actually, when you look at the fixtures, there are some pretty obvious fixtures, I think, this weekend. I forgot to look at Man United, didn't I? Got to look at Man United. Do apologise. Right up the top as well, it's a Friday night game. So Rashford, pretty poor form at the moment. Garnacho, really quite an impressive player. I like him. Bruno Fernandes, everybody knows by now. Amad Diallo is a real interesting one. I mean, he's really cheap on FPL, etc. as well. If he gets guaranteed minutes, then could be a really good option. Casemiro and Mino, left back, this kind of looks a bit up in the air at the moment. Will Johnny Evans a cover in there? What's going to happen? Obviously at right back, and Wan-Bissaka's went to West Ham now. Lisandro Martinez and big slabhead Harry Maguire. Diogo Dalot's quite an interesting fullback. He likes to get forward. I'm not seeing a lot of people with Man United in their teams, which is quite interesting. Rodrigo Muniz is favoured one, so he's only about 6 million or something on fanteam in EPL. Will be Smith Rowe is really, really popular. Obviously moved, still a low price. Andreas Pereira, pretty popular. Bernd Leno, I've got his rare actually now on Sorare, so I'm hoping he does pretty well. Calvin Bassey's an interesting one, used to play with Rangers as well. Anthony Robinson, a real attacking fullback, and the other side looks a bit harder to call at the moment. So Robinson, I mean, definitely for this game, away at Man United, is not a great fixture, but I think Fulham do have some nice opening fixtures there as well. So that's a full preview. Thanks very much for bearing with me. As I say, look out for the giveaway for Predictorfy. That will be up on the Twitter channel soon. 2 free memberships, pricing information, everything's to follow, and there's loads of improvements constantly coming for Predictorfy, which is really good. No Celtic lineup this weekend, still play. Again, this is an EPL video, so hope everyone enjoys the Man United game Friday night and all games on Saturday. I'm going to be catching up with the Scottish FPL guys, having a few pints, watching the early game, hoping to make it to the later game as well, and have a really enjoyable time. So thanks very much, everyone. Do appreciate you watching. If you give it a like or subscribe, that's great. And if you have any queries about entering the giveaways, you're not sure what to do, just message me. Drop a wee message on YouTube, or you can DM me on Twitter as well. Thanks again for watching. Good luck. Oh, I forgot to say it. So apologies for swearing if anyone from fan teams tuning in. I do swear sometimes. We always end in customary fashion and we say good luck and go fuck.